KKR can finally rejoice as KKR has finally found a way to win. And after a long gap of 5 games, they were on a losing trot. They have broken that streak with a win over Rajasthan Royals. I am Abel and I have Sandipani with me. And welcome to Boomer Live. We are going to be talking about that big win of KKR against Rajasthan Royals. Sandipani, let's get to it because it's your team, of course, the Kolkata Knight Riders. And I can see that happiness in your face that finally you feel like you might have felt like this has been one of those seasons where everything is just going bad. And of course, we will talk about some of the baffling decisions. Of course, let's talk about it. Before this match, we did speak about Rajasthan's momentum in the pre-game analysis on our Twitter space, where you are finding now that Rajasthan Royals batting is not kicking. You saw that in the game against Bangalore, you saw it in the game against Mumbai Indians, and even today they are getting out on that 150 scores, 145 to 150. You reckon it's the momentum which is getting affected now, which is now the as the tournament is going to the business end?
I mentioned in the pre-match as well that Rajasthan are too much dependent on Josh Butler's performance. I
Right.
mean, he has performed really well, and I also spoke that I also said that they will it will show their character when Butler gets out cheaply, or say he contributes the way he does usually. Say he scores a 30 or a 35, then the onus will be on the other batters to come good. I think they tried to strengthen their batting. Uh, which I think was a correct decision, because Mitchell had been just sort of slowing down their own momentum in the last 2 games. He used to come in at number 4. I think even if Mitchell would have played, he should have played at number 6. They
Yeah.
rightly pushed up Riyan Parag up the batting order at number 5. I think Karun Nair didn't click today. They can also, if they're trying a specialist batsman at number 4, they can either push Riyan Parag up the order at number 4 and get in another, say, a bowling all-rounder of some sorts, or they can probably go with Vander Dussen and give him another go at number 4, because I
Absolutely.
think the batting department looks really shaky if Butler is not contributing. I mean,
Absolutely.
Hetmeyer does not come before the 15th or 16th over, and Sanju Samson can only do as much. I was surprised that he got a good game tonight. He had a good he has a good record against KKR. But having said that, he was not coming into the game with the best of forms. He has
Yeah.
scored those 20s, 30s, but then he tends to throw his wicket away. It was good to see that he played sort of an anchor's innings. They were finding it really difficult to score quickly early on, like they did in the last game as well. The only difference being this time around, they did not have that four sixes or 4 balls from Butler. So I think the momentum was not there throughout the innings. They accelerated a bit at the end, but that was not enough. That was never going to be enough.
Absolutely. And let's, of course, talk about the tone which was set by Kolkata Knight Riders because I thought this match was absolutely won by KKR in the first 6 overs, where Umesh Yadav ran in and balled that spell and set that momentum right up for KKR. Because let's talk about Umesh Yadav. Every time we speak about him, we give him that credit. But even today, he bowled some of the best balls against Josh Butler. Josh Butler, a player who's in impeccable form, was struggling against a ball like Umesh Yadav, who was pitching in the right lengths, bowling at really good pace, and taking the ball away. How important a bowler has been Umesh Yadav through the course of this IPL? Though KKR have lost considerable amount of matches, but let's talk about Umesh Yadav, the bowler.
I think he is extremely crucial for KKR, because especially it is the start that matters. Often we have seen that if yeah, the opposition scores 60, 70 in the first 6 overs without losing any wickets, they always have the momentum throughout the innings, because KKR's middle overs bowlers, which mainly constituted of say Sunil Narayan and Varun Chakravarti, were there to build the pressure. If batsmen will go after them, they are extremely dangerous and lethal. But if there is no pressure on the batsman to go after them, probably play them out, play a 7-8 runs over, and target one of the two bowlers, they might even score 200, go on to score over 200. So that is a big concern if KKR, if Umesh Yadav does not perform. Having said that, he has performed exceedingly well. He is in very good rhythm. You can see that he's coming in, he's bowling those good lengths, he's getting the ball to swing a bit. and he's bowling perfect line and length. I think line and length has been the key for him this season, which is all the more reason that KKR are using all his 4 overs within the first 15.
Yeah,
His role is specified by the management that you have to come in, you have to give us those 3 overs in the power play, and probably 1 over in the middle overs if the batting team is sort of going well. You come in and try and break the partnership. Also, I think they applied that 1 over from Narayan in the power play. It helped in building up the pressure, and Padikkal had to go for it. So that was building the pressure, because I think they understood their matchups really well. Narayan has a very good matchup against the top three batters of Rajasthan, like Sanju Samson, Butler, and Devdutt Padikkal has really struggled against Narayan. Most of the players do struggle against Narayan, but they have, like, it was a very good matchup, and it was very good to see that Shreyas Iyer understanding that his key, even though Narayan is a very key bowler for KKR in those middle overs, he understood that now is the time to get the informed batsmen, to unsettle them, to apply some pressure on them. So I think
absolutely.
today it was a very good template game for KKR. You know that they had a good game if Andre Russell did not have to bat or bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Andre Russell has always done well against the Rajasthan Royals as well, but he never had to even ball or even had to bat a single ball. Let's talk about another bowler. He had gotten an opportunity after a very long time. It is Anukul Roy. Before this game, we just played one game that was against Chennai Super Kings back in 2019. He was the leading wicket taker for India in the Under 19 World Cup 2018, that campaign where India won the World Cup. He continues to impress everyone in the domestic circuit as well because he's got the ability to bat. What did you make of him? And he also picked up a wicket today. You reckon going ahead he can be a good option, or do you still prefer to have Varun Chakravarti back in your squad?
I think now if he will give way, I think he was brought in place of Venkatesh Iyer. In the
Yeah,
last game, they opted for one extra batter, and it cost them like dearly, because they did not have enough runs on the board to apply that pressure on DC. Probably if they would have gone with one extra bowler, if they would have realized the importance of the fifth bowler and not tried Nitish Rana or something in that middle overs, it would have been a different case altogether. But having realized that they need one extra sort of a all-rounder and a sort of a bowling all-rounder more than a batting all-rounder, they went with Anukul Rai. It was, if you ask me, it was again one of those very questionable choices, because it could have very easily gone wrong for them if Butler would have picked him, or he would have gone for plenty in the first, like he would have gone for plenty in the power play, the 2 overs that he bowled in the power play, then I don't think that he would have got another chance for the camp. But again, KKR continue to surprise you. They continue to bring in new players instead of the old ones, and there is no clue, there is no trace of the players that they are dropping. So I don't know how they will go about in the next game, because again their opening combination failed. If you look at it, Aaron Finch was not looking in the best of forms in the last game as well. He was playing across the line. He was not like playing in the line of the ball. He was having those huge swipes. It's either do or die for him, I think, in the next game, because Sam Billings is waiting.
absolutely. We have a question from Kerala Cricket Freaks, which is, should KKR bring Sam Billings Montana? I don't know who's Montana, but definitely that's an interesting thought as well. Let's talk about, as you're talking about KKR's batting, and we spoke about Anukul Roy briefly. You reckon now that KKR is going to try a new opening combination every game? This is a sixth game in a row they have tried out a different opening combination, and I would like to read out the names. I've got an interesting list of names of players if they have tried out in the opening combination. The game against Delhi Capitals, that was the first where they started losing. It was Rahane and Venkatesh Iyer who opened. The game against SRH, it was Venkatesh Iyer and Finch. Then it was again the same team, when that 400 odd runs were scored in a match. It was Narayan and Finch. Then against Gujarat Titans, it was Billings and Narayan. Delhi Capitals, again, it was Venkatesh Iyer and Finch. And today it is Finch and Indrajit. A long list of
Yeah.
mixed and match. Even I don't think next match when Finch will be opening the batting, or Finch might be feeling the pressure already that someone is going to take his position. Ideally, who should be opening the batting? Should it be Sam Billings, who's more of a solid option? And we've seen that with Finch. Finch has got the worst average in strike rate for a minimum of 1,000 runs by an IPL batsman.
Yeah, I think Finch is not looking in the best of forms, and best of shape as well. Like
Yeah.
in the game against Rajasthan Royals, I think he got a bit lucky early on in the innings, and also in the game against DC where he did not manage to get going, he was also dropped. So he's not in any sort of form, I guess. He just needs to like bat a few balls before trying those big hikes, I think, and then just get a feel of the game and get a feel of the ball, and then try and go after the bowling. I think that's the case. Also, I think we are going to see the change in the opening combination for a seventh time. I don't know whether Sheldon Jackson is injured or not, but Baba Indrajit did not look the place in the opener slot, according to me, because I think he's more of a middle order batter, and right now KKR does not need the like the option that Baba Indrajit is providing to them. So they might as well go with Sheldon Jackson if they don't want to go with Billings. I think Billings is also a favorite to come in place of Aaron Finch. But if Finch comes in place of Aaron Finch, if Billings comes in place of Aaron Finch, it will be interesting to see whether Venkatesh Iyer comes in place of Indrajit or not, Aparajit or not. Indrajit or not, Baba Indrajit or not. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just get confused with Baba Aparajit, Indrajit.
Yeah, they are twins, and I
It's
bet
yeah.
most of the players, even in the team, is getting confused. Who's Aparjit, who's Indrajit, and also, and unfortunately, Aparjit has never gotten an IPL opportunity. He's also a fine player from Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I made a mistake in the stat. It is the worst striker in average for an opening batsman facing minimum of 250 balls by an overseas
Okay.
opening batsman, and that's something which is very bad. You reckon that team should be looking for more options because we have seen across the world there are better options. Let it be someone like an Andre Fletcher. Let it be a Lendl Simmons. Let it be Paul
See,
Sterling, who has done really well. I know Alex Sales had pulled out of this tournament. That's the reason why they had to look forward to having someone like an Aaron Finn. But still, you have plenty of options who have done really well in Asian conditions. That's why you reckon franchises should be, scouting better when it comes to overseas players because there's no doubt about the scouting system in domestic talent. They always bring out some great domestic talent. That's one of the reasons why we have seen plenty of domestic talents even in this season. When it comes to overseas talents and overseas batsmen in IPL, do you reckon franchises are much more conservative on sticking to particular players who have already made names previously?
I think KKR are a bit conservative, are not at all conservative on that front because KKR have gone experimenting with a lot of young talents and they have groomed them over the years. It's not that they bring in the young talents, don't give them enough
No, I'm just
chances and
talking
then
about
just
the
drop them.
overseas talents,
Yeah,
not the Indian
speaking
talents.
about the overseas talent, Finch was definitely not their first choice. They went with Alex Helps, which will be considered sort of an unorthodox choice. Having said that, he's not playing international cricket anymore, and he's just playing those club crickets. That too, in not in the like he even though he's playing the Big Bash League and the NatWest Challenge, he is also playing the Pakistan Super League, and he was in good form in the Pakistan Super League, but unfortunately he had to take his name out of the competition. And also I think they had a lot of options, but they decided to play it safe. We have seen in the case of Pat Cummins the amount of money that Pat Cummins has been getting from KKR in the last 3 years. It's basically Pat Cummins is the best pacer in test right now, in test matches right now. He's good at bowling those lengths, but he's not a very good death over bowlers if you ask me. He
So that's what I'm
seldom
asking.
gets
Will
the
it
yeah.
surprise you a batsman is almost going to face the axe from the Australian team when it comes to T20 form, even in international cricket? When it comes to Big Bash League as well, he's at a poor Big Bash League. People are finding him out when it comes to balls coming in, and he's struggling with his quality spin as well. Why do you reckon KKR has gone to an Aaron Finch and not looking to someone like a Paul Sterling, Andre Fletcher, who have done really well in these conditions?
I think they wanted somebody with who has already made a name for themselves. Even though taking nothing away from Andrew Fletcher and Paul Sterling, I know that they are. Andrew Fletcher is one of the most destructive batsmen around the world right now, opening batsman, because he just plays those shots so nonchalantly. So I won't take anything away from Paul Sterling or an Andrew Fletcher. But I think KKR needed some sort of stability. I think Finch's role in the team was not to go after the bowling from ball one. Finch came in as a replacement for Rahane. Rahane was supposed to, I think his role in the team would have been to give them a steady start, something which Shubman Gill used to do in the last couple of seasons. I think they first need to understand their roles. Today, the bowlers understood their roles perfectly, and hence they executed it very well. Finch again, I think he's not in the best of forms. If he somehow like can time a few deliveries early on in the innings and can survive that early burst of spell, I think it will not take much time before he comes to form. And unless KKR are chasing something over 200 or they are chasing something massive, I don't think that it should be an issue for Finch to play the anchor's role.
Absolutely, Satvik. Finally, you're seeing Sandipani happy because he always last stream. If you just go back to the match which they played in DC, you could see a full-on Sandipani rant on DC, on KKR as well. It's like the two extremes. So today, Sandipani will give it to KKR and Shreyas Iyer. Let's talk about another player who's always been alongside KKR. It's been Rinku Singh. He's been with the team for the last 4 years, and finally, he's got an opportunity to really finish a game for KKR. And he's known to do this even for his domestic side. What did you make of the knock of 43? Because it was crucial 43 runs at that time because Rajasthan Royals was slowly creeping in that pressure which they were trying to mount upon Kolkata Knight Riders, isn't it?
Yeah, I told in the preview as well that Rinku Singh has been getting the chances that he rightly deserves. He has been in the KKR camp for somewhat like 4 or 5 years now, and he has got only before this season he had got only I think 4 or 5 games in those 4 seasons, and he couldn't capitalize on the chances that he got. KKR already had a very sort of a explosive batting middle order batting lineup, and Rinku Singh couldn't find a place in the team. He was also tried as an opener in one of the games where Narayan was sort of injured and he came and he could not. He played some seven. He scored some 7 of 16 or 17 balls and was dropped immediately. So it's good to see that Rinku Singh is finally getting his due. He has been an exceptional fielder for them in the last 2 3 seasons. He has just come in as a sub and performed exceedingly well with the in the field, taking those high pressure catches. Today as well, he took 2 3 catches and scored. The good thing that we have seen is in the last 3 games, KKR's middle order, like KKR has found themselves in some sort of trouble early on in the innings, which is standard KKR procedure. You lose wickets early on in the power play. They have lost 20 wickets this season in 10 games, which is twice in every game. So 2 wickets in every game. So you are losing. Most probably, you are losing both your openers in the first 6 overs of the game. So that is not ideal for any team. But it has been KKR's sort of KKR's mojo, losing wickets early on, and so Rinku Singh had been coming in at very tough situations in the last 2 3 games, but he has played beautifully in the last 2 3. Even in the last game, he had a brilliant partnership with Nitish Rana, and in the game before that, I think once Shreyas Iyer got dismissed against Gujarat Titans, KKR. It looked like KKR were going to lose by a huge margin. It was Rinku Singh's 25-26 that innings that some sort of stabilized the innings and prevented a collapse. So I think he has been coming really good for them in the last 3 games, and I hope this continues for them. And now more so now he has to come good because Venkatesh Iyer is not playing. So Anukul Roy is filling in the role of that sort of bowling all rounder. Venkatesh Iyer was a batting all rounder, so they are getting a bowling all rounder in place of him. So Rinku Singh has to come good because
Yeah,
he has to
true.
now justify his place.
True. Let's talk about Venkatesh Iyer before we end this show. Just took KKR 10 games to retain him for this season, and it just took him 9 games to drop him from the squad as well. I know 9 games is a long route, but you reckon it's a harsh call on that lad because you always talk about the second season blues, and we also discussed on our preview on Twitter Spaces as well. Will KKR take that decision of dropping Venkatesh Iyer because they've shown immense trust on this lad when it comes to giving him the opening batting position, finding him to slot in a different middle order positions as well because that's where he's been playing for India as well. He came to fame in no time. He got an India call up, played ODI, played T20 cricket. All of a sudden, people were talking about him to be in the reckoning for the T20 World Cup as well. You second, that's where he was having that extra bit of pressure to perform in this IPL and to cement his spot, not just in the T20 squad of KKR and also in India's World Cup T20 squad. Because understanding that pressure of Hardik Pandya also being fit, is that all playing a part in his mind coming into this season?
I think that definitely plays a part, it definitely plays a part in your psychology. But having said that, I don't think that he would be looking at it like in such a far-sighted manner. Of course, he wants a place in the T20 World Cup squad for India.
Yeah,
Hardik Pandya was fit and he was scoring runs. He was bowling those 4 overs early on in the tournament. So I think he might have felt the pressure, but again, feeling the pressure and not being able to withstand it uh, is a concern for him. I think he's very not very young, but he's young and he'll learn. He just got that one season, just 10 games. He was just 10 games old in IPL when he got that India call up, and he did considerably well for Team India both in T20s and ODIs, more so in T20s. So
right.
he has played that role of a finisher. I think his role in the team was not properly justified, because we saw that for KKR he opened the innings, and for Team India he came in at number 6. He was accustomed to playing the role of a finisher in the last few games. Also in his domestic side he comes in at number 6 and plays that role of a finisher in the lower middle order. So I think starting as an opener again, he faced some difficulties. He found it difficult to go early on, and once you have 3 or 4 bad games, the pressure just keeps mounting on you. And I think there is nothing to get bogged down by, because you can definitely, we have seen lots and lots of players who have performed exceedingly well in the first season of the IPL, coming in the second season and not finding their groove, and coming back again in the third season to perform very well for the side. So I think he should not be disheartened. I think he will definitely get a game. If KKR can somehow, because Finch is not looking in the best of forms, if KKR can drop Finch and bring in Sam Billings for the next one, so that wicketkeeper slot will be filled, so they can go with Venkatesh Iyer in place of, uh, say, Baba Indrajit. So
Absolutely.
it will be a bold call, not picking Sheldon Jackson, because is Sheldon Jackson injured? I don't think so, because I
No,
don't know
we
why
have
he's
not
not
heard
getting
news
this
on
game.
that. We have not heard any news on that. And which means Sandipani is suggesting there'll be a seventh opening combination in the seventh game for Kolkata Knight Riders. And that's not going to be surprising at all, because with the way in which they're going, every game you're seeing a new opener, and I'm just waiting to see Sam Billings and Venkatesh Iyer open the batting. Maybe having this win might not make them go towards Venkatesh Iyer. They might stick on with Anukul Roy, who's done nothing wrong. He's been an excellent fielder as well. Whenever he's got an opportunity, he just loves his fielding. Even we have seen that with Mumbai Indians as well. He's just got one opportunity with them, but now he's done well. He's grabbed that opportunity with both the hands, you would say. So, having
No,
said
I
that,
think Anukul Rai have pretty much cemented his place in the side. Not cemented, I mean he'll get to play at least the next 1 or 2 games. But I think
absolutely,
Venkatesh Iyer should come in place of Baba Indrajit, and then
absolutely,
open the innings again. And Sam Billings come in for Aaron Finch, and they can have Sam Billings and Venkatesh Iyer open the innings, or say push Sunil Narayan up the order to open the innings, and Venkatesh Iyer can come in the lower middle order. You'll have plenty of left-handers in the middle order for them then.
I think that's something which KKR will be pondering upon now leading into the next match. But having said that, let's go to the fantasy side of things. Let's see how do we all go about it on the fantasy field. Sunny Bunny, coming to you, how did you fare up on the fantasy field? Did you have a good day? Did you get your predictions absolutely spot on?
Not absolutely spot on, but I had a good day. I always knew that Mavi had a brilliant record against RR, and
Yep.
in fact 42% of his IPL wickets have come against RR
Right.
in 8 games. Just he has taken 13 wickets in 8 games. So Mavi was a sure shot choice for me, that he would have come into the game. And also, I think Sanju Samson was due a good knock, because you can't expect Butler. I had a gut feeling. I told in the preview as well that Butler might not be your best pick for tonight's captain, vice captain. I had him in my team, but he was neither my captain nor my vice captain, which allowed me to fetch a lot of points, because I had Shreyas Iyer as my captain and
Right.
Sanju Samson as my vice captain. So it was a good day in the office.
Absolutely. For me as well, I had a decent day at the office where I had Rinku Singh and Nitish Rana in my team as well. I just had a feeling that it was high time for Nitish Rana and Rinku Singh to do well. Though Nitish Rana had an interesting matchup against Yuzvendra Chahal, I just felt,
Yeah.
as a left-hander, he's a tremendous player of spin. We've seen him in domestic cricket and also in IPL as well. He plays spin better than anybody as well in the KKR team. So it was high time that he comes good, and today was a high time that KKR start their winning momentum. And Rajasthan Royals will have quite a bit of thinking as well, because it's their second game in a row which they've lost. And as I always say, IPL is a funny tournament. because once you start losing and once you lose the momentum, by the time you even start realizing, you might be out of the tournament. So the teams which are at the bottom of the table will be really happy with this win, because they'll be feeling that, oh yeah, the top teams are having jitters up there. So guys, that's it from us. Follow us on Instagram and like our videos and like our memes as well, because that's where we are going to bring you some interesting meme content, fantasy predictions as well. And also on our YouTube channel, we'll be coming every day live after the game, so to bring you this analysis of the post game. And also go to our Twitter, follow us, because we'll be doing pre-game analysis along there with alongside Jones and Sandipani and also Nikhil. So you don't want to miss out on that content as well. And right now, guys, click on the bell icon so that you are updated. So whenever we go live, we'll also be bringing you some exciting football content in the coming days as well. So don't miss out on that if you're a football fan. Having said that, thank you all. Have a good night if you're a Night Riders fan. Finally, something for the Night Riders to cherish about in the night.
Yeah, definitely.